So for my audience who's listening, Tracy Bullock, let me describe how I would describe the person and then a little bit about what she does. But I'm more interested in this interview about who she is, because it's very easy to understand what people do, but we want to know the person who we're doing business with. So that's the goal of what I want to accomplish today, is to help people get to know you a little bit. So Tracy, you're somebody who I would, without hesitation, describe someone with gas, my acronym I use for give a shit. The one thing that I have maintained for years and years and years, that nobody is teaching, there's no course in it, there's no training in it, there's no book on it. Everybody has a certain level baked in them. And Tracy, girl, you got it,
I
right?
hope so. Yeah, absolutely.
You do. And I think that's what served you in your life. That's what has drawn us together. I think that's what's made you a success in the various things that you have done in your life. Right now, you're providing services to companies. You're not only a consultant, but you provide sales training and other services around that to your clients. You are also a super connector. But I'm more interested in our audience kind of getting to know you. And my first question to you, Tracy, is I described you as somebody with a lot of gas, somebody who really cares and wants to make a difference. Where do you think that comes from, Tracy, inside of you?
Well, I'd have to say it probably stems from my family. My mother, well, my grandparents, actually, my mom and I lived with them. So came from what I guess is unusual and coming back today, which is multi-generational family. And literally had an opportunity to live with my grandmother while she had, she was the chair of the Masons, or not the Masons, the Eastern Star, which is the
Uh-oh.
group of women. So she was president of that, always chairing charities, always providing a way for people in the community to give back. My mother, then to extend that, was working with mentally challenged and physically challenged individuals, would bring them home so they'd have an experience away from the institution where she worked. And so my whole life was about inclusion and finding ways to make people feel good or to give back in a community, whether you're knitting toilet paper roll covers for people in nursing homes, or whether you're, chair of the Eastern Star, figuring out how to do charity events, or whether you're making a difference in somebody's life one at a time, with how you approach people who need more than you do. And that was a big part of how I grew up. So
Well, that explains a lot. I mean, and I'm finding a common thread, because I asked this question to all my members on the spotlight, and most of them say it does come from how they were raised, their family, as to why they have this, they want to really make a difference. They don't just want to show up at their job and then go home and flip channels and yell at the TV and complain about the world and not do anything.
Right.
They want to make a difference. And that's how I describe you, as a difference maker. So how did that first manifest itself when you were thrust into the occupational world? How did you what were the first things you were making a difference about?
So I would say it was probably 24 months into my career at Procter & Gamble. I had an opportunity to be promoted, moved back here about a year and a half in, 2 years in. And a fellow counterpart that I knew from college, who was also working for P&G as a woman, but in a different business unit, said, let's start a Girl Scout troop. Now we were both 24 years old. I said, okay. and so we were both Girl Scouts growing up, brownies and into Girl Scouts. And so at 24, we started Girl Scout troop. So that's probably the earliest opportunity I had at work to pair up with somebody and give back when I obviously didn't have children at the time, wasn't married, etc. From a work standpoint, it manifested itself by me running the intern programs for Procter & Gamble for 14 years here and in Colorado. So
Is that
actually,
something you volunteered for? It was
oh
that
yeah,
something?
oh yeah, that was over and above my day job. So it wasn't just having an intern, it was running and coordinating the programs across 2 different states. So it was helping with the interviews, what students from high school into college would be appropriate for working with Procter & Gamble, and how do we help them succeed. Then it's working with my peers to help them be good managers of those interns and understanding the differences and what needs to happen. It's being on a diversity dynamics team to understand what needs to happen to not only hire, but retain and surround these folks with love so they keep coming back year after year, and we have a built-in workforce then.
And so you were doing this above and beyond as a volunteer. And
Right.
so how did that manifest itself in your paid for role? Because you were at
Well,
Procter & Gamble how many years?
30, and
Only
I
30 years.
only 30. Yeah, but I
So,
did it, started in utero, so I'm 36.
and you ended up in, what was the highest role you served in Procter & Gamble?
I was a global capability manager. We would call that a senior account executive, I don't know, global resource for an entire business unit. So was,
Wow.
yeah,
And
but it's interesting though, Andrew, that the level itself didn't matter to me. The opportunity to grow my skill set and to find new ways to grow, whether it was vertically or horizontally, to be able to, I always wanted to, I gave birth to 2 children for a reason, and that is that I wanted to raise them. So I made some strategic choices in my career to not move to Cincinnati or not move to a place where I had to work full time in an office and be restricted about being able to be part of their lives. So my career at P&G, just the people and the mentors I had helped me really, truly give back and get back from the volunteer roles, and all the things I did helped me be able to create my own roles.
wow. And I would imagine the common thread through a lot of your successes was this intense focus on people and trying to make a difference and doing the right thing. And you probably made a lot of mistakes, but you're the kind of person that I think we've not discussed this, but I would describe you as the type of person that would speak very openly and would be very proud of the mistakes that you made because of how you grew from that.
Yep.
And you would pass that on to people readily. I would imagine. And that's probably why you're a consultant now, is because you want to pass on those lessons learned and help the people what you learned, the opportunity you had to learn, and the failures that you had and those lessons learned. So today, you're now a consultant, you're a Sandler sales training person. You are dynamic on so many levels.
Thank you.
What drives you today that's maybe a little different than when you were in Procter & Gamble?
So at P&G, what a fabulous company, what a fabulous opportunity. But I'm not going to be eating ramen noodles tomorrow, as you can imagine, after 2 years there. So I had to decide to figure out what I wanted to be when I grew up, and had all these 30 years, 15 roles, all these fabulous opportunities. I had to boil it down to what are the things I love. And frankly, I love helping people develop personally. They can translate it professionally or in all aspects of their life, but it's all about helping the person develop their inner communication skills, because that changes the way we view things, see the opportunity, maybe take a deep breath before we respond instead of doing that knee-jerk um, typical response that most people see. So
We talk about that often.
yeah, yeah. And I guess the ability to help individual business owners as well as people in big corporations that maybe wouldn't have that same lens has really driven me. I mean, cross industry pieces I never would have gotten at P&G. All of my support, my resources, my network was within a single company, and now I get to expand and build my network where I live, which is so fun and unusual.
And you're learning, I mean, that's the beautiful thing about being a consultant,
Constantly.
which I'm a consultant as well, is it, perspective is so important. And now you're getting so many other perspectives and
Yes.
how you can apply all that you learned to their way of life and their challenges, and also take on new perspectives, which really helps us. So in a way, you are not just somebody, a hired gun that you come in and say, look, help us with our sales. You're like, you get really involved. You're like a coach. You're there. You're committed to their journey, and they don't just get a service. They get Tracy Bullock. I know you would
It's
say
like
that.
glue. It's like glue, right? It's like, oh God, you're stuck with me now. Well, frankly, that's why I chose Sandler, because it's all about reinforcement or behavior change over time. I wish I knew 30 years ago, up until I even retired, what I know now, which is it takes practice and it takes failing. It takes laughing about failing in order to truly change how we show up. And the reinforcement piece is all about it. So it's like, you know what? It's so funny you mentioned telling people how often I fail and make mistakes. It's like every single week when I'm training my classes, it's like, let me tell you the mistakes I made this week. Who can top it? Get in line. And
but it's that vulnerability that you offer up that allows the people who you're consulting to feel connected and close to you, to share, for them to open up, to really grow themselves. And you have that quality, Tracy. You have that, that dynamic quality. When people meet you, they feel you make people feel comfortable to share.
So, because you know what? There's too many people that don't put that out there. And I know you're a big law of attraction person, as I am, which is one of the reasons we glommed on to each other so quickly. But I truly believe if we push that positive energy out, it just surrounds the people we're around. It touches them, and you get it back tenfold.
You do. And I've been attracting, over the course of many years, many more people like you in my life, than people that I really wouldn't want to hang around. Not that they're bad people, but I choose to be around people that are willing to fail, that are willing to openly share it. They're willing to say, here's how I grew from it. Here are the lessons learned. People that live a go for it life, So, I appreciate you so comfortably and beautifully sharing this about you, because we can spotlight you and talk about what you're doing, and you know what's the difference between you and everybody else?
Nothing except
nothing other than what we just talked about.
Yeah, right. I always say, here's what I say, Andrew. I say that people buy you first. They buy how you can help them solve for what they need second, and the third thing they buy is what you do, but in that order.
And absolutely. And that's why I wanted to expose you first. And then if you share, like I would say the second is, people believe what you believe, there's really not much more to sell, right? And if what you believe is unique and powerful and emotional, right, then the selling part is really easy. So, that's really my goal of these member spotlights, is to expose the person and what they really believe. So to end, two things. One, I do want to say, how people can get in contact you and the exact type of consultant that you're doing. But if there was one thing that you really believe in what you're doing, what is that? What is your stake in the ground? What do you believe that if a small business owner is out there and they believe the same thing, they should at least have a conversation with you?
Yeah. My hardest lesson coming from corporate America to be a business owner was that I didn't know what I didn't know, and learning to ask for help and being vulnerable enough to ask for help would probably be the big issue.
Look, small business owners don't know to ask for help.
No,
They don't know to let go. They think they have to do everything and they don't. So, there's common themes that, because I'm a consultant too, and I
right,
know
right.
this, right? And by the way, there's CEOs of companies too that don't know to ask for help. It's not
We're
just
embarrassed too because they think they need to
correct.
have all the
They're
answers.
supposed to
Right,
be this big person that walks
right,
in a
yeah,
room
right.
and be the panacea for everything. And guess what?
Mhm,
They're just as human as you are. Well,
mhm.
that's beautiful, Tracy. Thank you so much. So now let's end on very quickly. What is the exact consulting you're doing, and how can people get in touch with you?
So I do communication training. So think of professional development for sales leaders, for managers, for leaders of businesses, customer service people, and most importantly, those folks who are out pounding the pavement on the street, those sales folks who just need help looking for, I need to show up differently than anybody else who does what I do. I consider myself the executioner, as I told you, helping people say, I've got a strategy, I know my plan, I know my numbers.
The
And
positive version of the
exactly,
execution.
exactly. But I just need some help in executing the skills to deliver it, right? If people want to contact me, they can do it at Sandler.com. I'm the only woman in the market that's a Sandler
Local
provider,
market.
local market.
Yeah.
If they want to call direct just to have a conversation, I don't charge for consults or whatever. Let's figure out if we're right. My phone number, direct number, 602-524-3950. Again,
And
602.
this
Go ahead.
602. No, go ahead. Say it again.
524-3950.
And spell your name. Uh-oh. I think we lost.
Oh, Tracy, Tracy, Bullock, Bullock like Sandra, Bullock, but I'm her younger sister.
And they can find you in LinkedIn as well.
Oh, yes,
So
absolutely. Mhm.
that's wonderful. Tracy, I appreciate you. I am blessed to have you in my life. It's so interesting, my audience talking to you. We, Tracy and I, realistically compete for the same kind of clients. The kinds of services we provide are the same. And I'm sharing this with you, my audience, because I want you to know that it's okay to not only know your competitor, but to be friends, to help them too.
Yep.
The world's a big place. And I have some lessons learned I can share with you in how I turned one of my biggest competitors many, many years ago into one of my biggest partners in my life. And it made the biggest difference in my life.
Yep.
Your competitors there's equally passionate, give a shit people out there. Tracy, you're one of them. You're a beautiful person. I am glad to have you in my life. Thank you. For anybody that's seen this, you need to have a conversation with her, because I'm telling you, the second you talk to her, you're going to be like, okay, I need to figure out how to work with this person because she's just awesome. So Tracy, thank you so much. Thank you for dealing with the initial drama of me not being in the call on time. And given what's going on in the world, the one thing I do want to end up with is Tracy and I are probably in a position where we're going to be okay. We can go get food and we can last without a paycheck or whatever. And there's lots of us out there. Yes, take care of yourself. Yes, take care of your family, but take care of your neighbor. Take care of
Yes.
somebody who really doesn't have the ability like you to take care of yourself and your family. Do it. Now's the time. It matters. So,
Amen, brother.
Tracy, what?
Amen, brother.
Amen. Tracy, Have a wonderful day. Thank you so much again.
Thanks, Andrew.
Bye.
Bye.